morning, everyone. How are you this morning? I hope you're all well. This is week 45, 46. Let's just check. What do we got here? This is week 45. We've got 7 weeks to go in the year. And for those of you who are new and joining us, the whole thing is that we challenged ourselves, we being me and dragging along Rick, to do better this year on our recycling challenge. Last year, excuse me, last year we were hoping for 1,000 pounds and we got over 1,900. This year we thought we'd bump it up and make it 2,000 and see if we could push it over. I think this is going to be about our limit, physical limit of what our household can recycle and put back into our own soil without throwing it out on either recycling day or landscape recycling. We have a Wednesday garbage pickup, and they take grass clippings and branches and all that sort of thing. So anyway, we've done pretty well. And we recycle things like all our fruits and vegetable peels. I raise worms, so they go to my worms. But if you didn't and you wanted to put it back into your soil, you could trench compost, you could do that sort of thing. All of our canned goods come with wrappers on them, and those wrappers can be recycled. We used to just throw the cans out. I'd rinse them and then we would put them out for recycling, because a tin can can be recycled over and over and over again. So now we still recycle the can, but we also use the wrappers. If you make rice, I have a package of rice out there. And we never used to do this. We would just, put the water in and everything. And I think it's probably healthier if you rinse your rice. I won't cast any aspersions on anyone, but I'm sure there's a little bacteria in that. So if you rinse the rice, use the rinse water because it has vitamin B in it. And I water my plants with it. If I don't do that, then I let that water sit until any bleach or anything might dissipate. And I sprinkle that on my worm bins. If you have any old cereals, any old crackers, any old pasta, any really old bread. This bread was from June, and I saved it for a long time because I gave up eating this type of bread, most breads. And this is June, July, August, September, October, November, 5 months. It has not molded. Makes me wonder what this does to our systems. So I've been feeding it to the worms, and the worms love it. But I was kind of hanging on to it because I wanted to see how long it would take for it to mold. Well, after 5 months, I said, the heck with this. The worms are getting it. Fruits, vegetables, cardboard, any of our paper goods, toilet paper, paper towels, wrapping paper. I'm trying to think of anything else. I have a list. When we vacuum, that goes back to the worms or in the compost. When we sweep the floor, that goes into the worm bin. All the things that go back to the soil. Coffee grounds, tea bags. I have my avocado pits there. Boy, they are tremendous. Avocado pits. You see them looking brown, but I don't know if you can see the one that's up in the front there. It looks creamy colored. If you put that in your NutriBullet or a blender of some sort, and it breaks the whole thing up and it comes out like a real fine powder, it's almost red. It's like a burgundy red, going into that family, but wine red. So anyway, that was all I wanted to go through with you today. We did well, and the only reason we did well was because I happened to be walking early in the morning, and there was a gentleman putting out his recycling, and he put out, we're supposed to put out our recycling and our household trash on Tuesdays. I live in a development, so there's rules and regulations, and you're not supposed to put it out any later than like Monday night after 6 o'clock, and then they come on Tuesday, and you're supposed to take it in no later than 6 o'clock that night. And there's so many rules broken that it would take a full-time person running around. That's where the name Condo Commandos came from, HOA Commandos. And then Wednesday we have our yard trash, and that's not supposed to go out until Tuesday night and then be taken in Wednesday. Well, this gentleman, all dressed very nicely, suit, tie, and everything, he had everything out all at once, and here he came down, and he was putting out, I was at a distance, but he was carrying these 2 pumpkins, and he put those next to his yard trash. Now this was Tuesday morning, and it wouldn't have been picked up until Wednesday afternoon sometime. And I thought, oh, I could probably carry those home. Boy, I'm glad I didn't even try. I went home, Rick came in later, and I said, hey, you're going grocery shopping, could you drive over there and see if they're still there? So they were, and together they weighed 24 pounds, 8.8 ounces. They were just over 12 pounds a piece. I mean, that's a decent sized pumpkin. If I grew that pumpkin, I'd be real proud of myself. So Rick doesn't like seeds. He said they're not so I'm a kind of a quagmire. I don't know if I cut this up and put it in my compost, even if I freeze it and feed some of it to the worms and some of it to the compost, will the seeds sprout? In a compost pile? I don't want to do that, and I'm at a real concern because Rory Raccoon has been visiting my yard for the last week, and he has everything ripped up. He must go through, and he's like an itinerant preacher who comes to your community and preaches for a week and then goes on somewhere else, because he's been here the entire week, and he's picked a different section of my yard in the dark every week. Rick finally stopped. We have a fountain out there. It's just a small fountain. And apparently old Rory, every day after he's eaten his worms and ripped up everything, he's washing his face, because raccoons like to wash their face in their little front paws, and he's been washing his face, and he's ripping the fountain apart. We're finding rocks in different places. We're finding he rips the tubing out of it, and for the first few days Rick was reconstructing it, and so after a couple days he left it go, and I said, no, you can't leave that. You can't leave sitting water, not in Florida. It's 80 some degrees during the day. We're gonna get mosquitoes. So he's emptied it out, and he said it was packed with sand. The whole rim was packed with sand and leaves and my moringa, mulch, everything. So he's been out there eating, and then he washes his face afterwards. Tidy little fella, but not in my yard. So I'm concerned if I give this to the compost out there that he's going to smell that, and he's going to start ripping up my geobends next. So I'm hoping these things will stay, won't rot before I get a chance to use them. So without further ado, 24 pounds was the was what I got from them. My total for the week was 32 pounds, 9.9 ounces. Now, so if you took that away, I would have only had like 8.5 pounds. But together, it comes where it comes, you know, and it would have gone into the trash. So unless the neighborhood raccoons on that street had ripped them apart. So where am I? I've lost myself again. I keep doing this. Here we go. So for the week, I got 32 pounds, 9.9 ounces. I had 1,841 pounds, 12.2 ounces. So that brought the grand total to 1,874 pounds, 6.1 ounce. So I still need to get just over 125 pounds in 7 weeks. So, you know, I'm not going to find any more. I'm perusing the neighborhood, and I'm not finding any more fresh. You know, if you go to any of the Hobby Lobbies and any of these stores, the fake pumpkins are just this size, and they're nice and clean and shiny. And I've been going over to a couple of the neighbors, and I go over and I go, well, that looks so real. And I go and I tap on it, and you can hear I'm tapping on. That's all glass. I don't have any plastic, but you can hear them. I'm tapping on plastic, and I go, doggone. So anyway, that's my whole story. You know? Now I do still have a few guesses. Joe's Outdoor Places, great channel. If you're into outdoors and you're into camping and that sort of thing, watch him. He guessed that I would get to 2,012 pounds. Good guess. Sandra over at Nana's Worms and Garden, another good channel, she guessed 2014. And Tony Walsh over at Rand W. Farmstead guessed 2024 to 2025. Also a very good channel. Great guys. Great people. So if you want to put in your guess, I would love it. I would actually put you on my list, and I would mention your name. I promise I would. And but you need to let me know what you think I'm going to get you. I think I you know, knock wood, I'm saying my prayers and hoping that I get just over 2,000. That would be great. We all like to make our goals, don't we? And so I think this week we are still waiting to have someone come in and replace our roof. We'll see how that goes. They've gotten half our money. Now we're hoping that they'll do the job. So, and I hate to have Thanksgiving with a big dumpster out there, but it is what it is. We want to get our roof replaced before anything else happens. So I will leave you with that. I'll say I hope everybody has a great day. Remember, garden what you've got. That's where this all started 4 years and 2 months ago. 50 months I started this channel, and with the idea that I would do a few videos and become a YouTube sensation. So that hasn't happened yet, but anyway, I will let you all go, and I'll say thank you so much. I really do appreciate everybody who comes and visits, watches the channel, watches the commercials. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye.